Hello everyone, welcome to Match Week 8 review show right here on MIM Sports. I'm your host, Ronald M. Man. What a weekend of football. What an amazing weekend of football. You know, it's so fun to watch teams play when your team is not playing because it's stress-free. Chelsea wasn't playing this game week. Yeah, that was a relief. A relief for me, definitely. But before we get into Cyborg, Haaland and Manchester City, Arsenal and Gabriel Jesus, I think we have to do something, man. I think I once did this first song on YouTube. I think I have to do it again. Let me just get the lights properly. Man, we have to do this. We have to do this. Let's light a lighter for someone I think will be soon unemployed, a fallen hero. I think for me it's inevitable now. Chances are he is going to go during this transfer window. This is for Brendan Rodgers. I think very soon he'll be joining Thomas Tuchel in the unemployed sector. Man, I can't see him surviving this game, this internet. I can't see him surviving it. Leicester have been very poor. In the last 2 games, they conceded 11 goals. Like 11 goals. That's championships. That's relegation form. That's relegation standard. You don't expect that from Leicester. A team not so long ago were serious contenders for top 4. A club that won the FA Cup, convincingly won the FA Cup. Man, for them to fall like this, you know, as a Chelsea fan, you can always see. I think we're specialists when it comes to seeing players who don't play for their coach anymore. They start losing concentration, making silly mistakes, and they played against the Spurs side which was there for the taking. I don't see Brendan Rodgers surviving this international break. He's been a good coach. Leicester have played some pretty good football over the years, but I think this is the end of the road, you know. I wish I could play the end of the road theme. So we've come. I can't sing. No, I can't sing. But, man, I think Brendan Rodgers is done. That's it all for Brendan. Let's get back to the show. Yes, as I mentioned before, Cyborg Haaland leading City to a victory. Man, Manchester City. You know, Manchester City are an impressive team. Just when you think they are the best team in the league, up steps Arsenal. For me, I think they've been the best team in the league so far. And I still can't believe Arsenal are on top of the league after 2 months of Premier League football. If you had told me this at the beginning of the season, I would have said, nah, at best maybe top 4-ish, not the top. I always thought Liverpool and Man City would be just running away with it. But Arsenal are on top of the Premier League. They convincingly defeated Brentford, an on-fire Brentford. They nullified the Brentford attack. I mean, for Arsenal to get a 3-0 in a stadium they lost 3-0 last season, the first match of the season, is quite something else, man. They're looking like Premier League contenders, if you think about it. If you take away from me being a Chelsea fan, me thinking that Arsenal will bottle it and whatnot, they genuinely look good. They genuinely look like a team that can go all the way. Even when they lost against Man United, it wasn't a bad performance. You wouldn't say Arsenal were just being Arsenal and crumbled. No, it was a good performance without the result. Man United were very clinical that day. That was the only difference. And for Arsenal to be top going to an international break, the confidence in the team, and if I saw it correctly, there are some Arsenal key players who are not going for international duty, which is again to give them more time to rest and gel as a team. And I think Arteta will be loving that some of the players are not going on international duty. Man, Arsenal are looking very sharp. I mean, Saliba for me has been one of the best defenders. If I was to make a team of the season so far, I would definitely put Saliba there. He's up there. He's one of the best defenders. And his first full Premier League season, he looks solid. He gives Arsenal so much confidence from the back. And you think, in the midfield, I know RODgers didn't play today, but he's been one of the stand-up players already. I can't believe, as a Chelsea fan, it hurts me to see Arsenal this good when we won the Champions League not so long ago and we were struggling. I always thought Arteta was a fairly average manager. I'll be honest with you guys. I never saw him challenging the likes of Pep Guardiola, of the departed Tuchel, of Jurgen Klopp and Conte, but he's proving his worth. This season is the season for Arsenal. And for me, as a Chelsea fan, this is quite interesting now because I want to see how Arsenal will do. I want to see will they fall off, because now the level they've set for them, if they don't get top 4, they have to be considered as a failing group. if they don't get top 4 from the way they've started the league, I know it's only 2 months in, it's only about 8 game weeks in, but the way they've started, the way they've played football, the way they've entertained, if they don't make it to top 4, then Arteta has to consider that season as a failure. If they don't win the Europa League, it's a failure. If they don't win anything with this current Arsenal team, and they don't get top 4, because top 4 is like a trophy now. The Champions League money, playing in the Champions League gets you attracting more better players and all that. So Arsenal have to get in top 4. I mean, today they got 3 goals from the first one. It was Saliba, then Gabriel Jesus, and then was it Vieira? Yes, the new signing. The beginning of the season, I remember when I was setting up my FPL team, I had him as my sub because it was cheap, and I've seen reports how he had impressed in Portugal. So for me, Arsenal are the team to beat right now. Yes, I know Manchester United beat them, but then they are the team to beat. If you're any team in the league, yes, you can fear your City, you can have fear your Liverpool, but then you have to fear Arsenal because they will play out of the park. For me, the difference between them and Spurs are a clinical team, but Arsenal are a footballing playing team. Spurs are a lucky team, if I may put it that way. There are chances. For me, at the moment, there's still chances. And Arsenal are a Premier League playing team, a football playing team. And you can't deny that they deserve to be at the top. Right here, right now, you can't deny they deserve to be at the top. I mean, that was pretty impressive football from Arsenal. And for them to win 3-0 at Brentford, that really puts them up there, shows their credentials that they really want to achieve something this season. I mean, that was a beautiful scoreline for them. If an Arsenal fan, you should be proud. No one can drag you right now. Yes, we did have a laugh at you when you played Man United, but right here, right now, you're on top of the league. No one can break. No one can drag you for that. No one can pull some banter on you. It's now up to us now to maintain that level. It's up to them to maintain that level. If they can get a result against Chelsea, Spurs, I think they have Spurs up next, I'm not sure. Chelsea, Spurs, Liverpool and Man City, then you have to start considering that. They might go all the way. I mean, it's been way too long. It's been way too long. A generation has been born since Arsenal last won a Premier League title. It's been way too long. I mean, for me, they deserve a round of applause. I can't believe they're playing good football, man. But yeah, they are a team to watch out for, definitely. They are a team to watch. Every player is gelled up properly. There's some players who are stepping up this season. I mean, the keeper is looking good. Josephine has me to say this, but then they do look good. So Arsenal, they played today. It was a 1 o'clock kickoff in our time zone. They won the game 3-0. Everton, man, I can't help but smile. Frank Lampard is finally getting something right as a coach. He's proving the doubters wrong now. I think he is proving the doubters wrong. Everyone is fighting. And can we just say, the way Lampard has transformed Iwobi, like, you know, as an African, it makes me so proud to see Iwobi play football. And in a position which is not his forte. He was never a central midfielder when he was playing at Arsenal, during the Arsenal days in this first and second season at Everton. But now he looks like a force to be reckoned with in the midfield. He's hard-working. For me, at the moment, Iwobi might be the best player on pitch, not on paper, in the pitch for Everton. He does everything to the T. He runs around, he posting tackles. He's a good ball retention. His passing is good. Right here, right now, Everton have a good plan in Iwobi, Alex Iwobi. The Super Eagles have to be proud. If you're a Nigerian, you have to be proud of Iwobi. He's flying the African flag high, the Nigerian flag high, and he's showing that he can play. He deserves to play in the Premier League. You know, he doesn't play there because he's Okocha's nephew. He's proving now that he is an Everton player. I'm sure the Everton fans really love him. I think when I was watching the game, I heard them chant his name. Oh, Alex Iwobi. Yeah, he's definitely doing the good stuff there in the midfield. And they beat West Ham 1-0. Neil Maupay with the goal. Neil Maupay, if you watch football, if you watch Brighton play, he always has a goal. He's like a goal in 3 to 4 matches striker. And he does, at times, play a good match and gets a goal. And I think that's key with Dominic Calvert-Lewin out for Everton. Is always out anyway. It's key for Neil Maupay to step up and get the goal when they need him to. Because I want Frank Lampard to do well. I know his time at Chelsea was a success, and arguably if it was a successful season or not. But then I do want him to do well. I want him to outdo Gerrard, if I'm being honest with you. I want him to be the next best British coach there is. And, him being a Chelsea legend, it's always a good thing if he does well. Yeah, but Everton did defeat West Ham. And you have to worry for Moyes. If Moyes didn't have that great season he had last season in the Europa League run, and I'll be lighting a lighter for him as well, I think he will be soon joining Brendan Rodgers if they don't pick up, because they are drowning at the moment. They just don't look themselves. They don't look like the West Ham, which was difficult to play against last season. They look, that West Ham which somehow when Moyes got there was fighting relegation. Yeah, I think they've hit that form again. It will be interesting to see if the West Ham board acts on Moyes, although I think him being in the Europa Conference League and the way he finished last season, I don't think they'll get rid of him yet. I don't think his job is on the line like a Brendan Rodgers, for example. But yeah, man, Everton did manage to defeat West Ham to get the first victory of the season, and you could see the way Lampard was celebrating. I was watching the game and I acted like an Everton supporter. I was a bit nervous for Lampard. I was really worried for him. But they did manage to get the goal. They did manage to win the match, and that was a good start from Everton. Now, let's jump on to the inevitable. The cyborg Haaland. Haaland the cyborg. I mean, that guy can't stop scoring. And you can't hate on him. That's the thing with Haaland. You just have to appreciate. You can't say, you can't just hate on the guy. He's paid to score, and he is scoring goals. He's paid the huge money to score. He came there to finish off chances from Dortmund, and he's living up to the billing. There was a debate between him and Nunes at Liverpool, but then Haaland is so clear now. For me, at the moment, I can say he's the best striker in the Premier League. He is the best striker in the Premier League. I know Kane is also scoring goals, but Haaland, for me, is the best striker in the Premier League right here, right now. He buries chances. I don't remember a game where he's wasting chances. He buries chances. He takes his chances. And if you're an FPL manager, Haaland is a must-keep. I know the players who outdid him in the Premier League this past game week who got, for example, Son got a hat-trick and stuff. But Haaland is a must-keep. He is that guy. And the way City just manhandled Wolves, I mean, I thought Wolves would put out a fight. Yes, in the second half, they did come back into the match, but I think City just took the foot off the pedal. They knew the game was done and dusted. They had wrapped the match effectively. And you can't hate on Pep's team again. You can't, because every player there looks hungry. Like, there's a new signing, the defender they brought, I think it's Okonjo or something along those lines, his name. He has slotted in perfectly. You don't even recognize that he wasn't part of the back four last season, the way they're playing. I mean, everything looks rosy for City right now. And I think it's not a surprise, really. I think the only surprise is that Arsenal are on top of them in the Premier League. It's not a surprise that City are up there, because we all expected that. We all expected Haaland to fit in. I guess the question was, would Haaland fit in, or he would start like when Pep first arrived with Aguero, or even when he was in Bayern Munich with Lewandowski, or in Barca with the likes of Zlatan, and but Haaland is proven to be Pep's guy, and Pep, you can see when Haaland scores the way Pep celebrates. He knows he wants Haaland to always be on form. And it's to be difficult. Like I said in my other videos, I don't see City losing this season. I honestly don't see them losing a match. Maybe might have the second team to ever win the Golden Trophy and go the season unbeaten and be invisible like us now. I hope we do see that, because I want to see that. I think Pep's football and Pep's management deserves that. And I'm afraid I think we will see that this season, because I don't see this current Liverpool side beating City, nor the Spurs, nor this Arsenal. I don't see, in as much as Arsenal are playing good, I don't see them beating Manchester City. So for me, again, if Arsenal slip up and Pep and Man City take the first position in the league, then it's reps. I think they'll just run with the league. And the fact that Haaland is not going to the World Cup, you'll be extra fresh. I mean, that's not fair. That's like a cheat code, if you think about it. Wolves, I'm a bit worried. If I was Bruno Lage, I'd be worried. I'll be worried. Wolves, yes, they won, I think, the last match before this one, 1-0. But if I'm Bruno Lage, I'll be worried. But again, it was City. you can't expect anything else from City. So maybe that will buy him some leeway. But Wolves have been playing the best of football at the moment, man. So yeah, if a Wolves fan, I think you should worry about Bruno Lage. And hopefully Diogo Costa will hit the ground running after international break. Because if he comes back as the Costa I know from Chelsea, the hungry Costa to prove that his legs are not gone at 33 years old, he might get goals for you, which you need. Because Wolves' attack is non-existent, and I think that's why they brought in Diego Costa. So you need Costa to hit the ground running, really. And then the other match which was on, the reason why I lit the lighter for Brendan Rodgers was against Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, that was a... Spurs are the luckiest team at the moment. If I'm being frank with you, Spurs are the luckiest team at the moment. And I guess it fits the billing, because you hear Spurs fans say, we don't care the kind of football we're playing as long as Conte gets us winning, and hopefully they win a trophy. Although I don't see them winning any trophy, really. I don't see them winning the Champions League, unless if they drop to the Europa, they have a better chance. I don't see them winning the FA Cup, because again, Pep will be going for that as well. I don't see them winning the Carabao Cup again, because the likes of all other teams and even Arsenal wanted to go for those trophies as well. But the football Spurs are playing. Yes, Son got a hat-trick. He finally got the season up and running with 3 goals already. I can't believe it. I mean, from nowhere, from being dropped to the bench, from a stinker against Sporting in the midweek Champions League match, to him getting a hat-trick. But it was Leicester's fault that Son got that hat-trick. It was Leicester who gave up the chance. It was Leicester who were just wide open. They were just wide open. I don't want to say open as a word, but they're just so wide open. It was unbelievable to see how bad Leicester were. Spurs did play bad football. Like, let's be honest. That was the most beautiful football you ever see an Antonio Conte team play. But they were effective again. Like, they gave up... Leicester gave up clear-cut chances. All the set pieces looked like Spurs were going to score a goal. Kent got in the mix. Dyer got in the mix. Who else scored? Son got a hat-trick. I forgot who else scored the 6th goal, because I think the match finished 6-2 to Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, Leicester did get some couple of goals, and they had a penalty, and they did get a beautiful goal from Maddison, who for me I think is the only shining light in that Leicester team at the moment. And if I was a Chelsea fan, I would love to see Maddison in a Chelsea shirt. I would love to see that creativity brings and the number of goals and assists it brings in a Chelsea shirt. I genuinely would love to see Maddison there. I think for me, he's the only player right here, right now, who's showing that he is quality at Leicester. Everyone else seems to like they've down tools. And again, don't get me started on the goalkeeper for Leicester. They get rid of, okay, Schmeichel leaves. I don't think they got rid of him. He leaves. I don't think Danny Ward is up there to be a Premier League goalkeeper. I'm so sorry. With all due respect, I don't think he's the goalkeeper for Leicester if they want to get into Europe again. He doesn't look on it at all. He doesn't command his box. Some of the goals he's conceding, his distribution is not that good. Just like Leicester's defense, everything. Leicester is what we call things are falling apart there. They're just a mess, man. It's hard to believe a few seasons ago they beat Spurs to the Premier League title. It's hard to believe that they won the FA Cup last 2 seasons back, really. Yeah, they won the FA Cup 2 seasons back. It's hard to believe that's the same Leicester. At the same time, there's been little to no investment in the team. But again, we expect that the quality of players Leicester has. Let's be honest. They have did in the midfield. Tielemans is there. Maddison is there. Passon Daka looks good. Harvey Barnes looks good. You don't expect Leicester to be getting this kind of trapping. A 5-2 against Brighton. A 6-2 against Tottenham Hotspur. Nah, man. Something has to give at Leicester. And it might be Brendan Rodgers who will end up losing his job. But back to Tottenham Hotspurs. Again, man. Conte football is not the best football you will ever watch. I mean, that game was so comical because of the defending. As a neutral, let me not say neutral, as a Chelsea fan, I wanted Leicester to win the match. But then, second half, man, Leicester just fell apart. Like, literally fall apart. And it was just haphazard. The players looked like they've given up. So, obviously, no Conte will punish such teams. And the moment Spurs go in front of a match with the leading scoreline, you know Conte will start hitting teams on a counter. the best counter-attacking team in the Premier League, other than Manchester United right now, for me, is Spurs. And you could see from Son's goals, I mean, he scored some wonderful goals, but then some of the opportunities Spurs got on the counter were so ridiculous from a Leicester perspective. But I guess that's what you expect, man. You know, when you're busy in Africa and then load shedding hits. Yeah. Let me just quickly go over some of the matches. Yes, we did also see Nottingham Forest play Fulham. I mean, Fulham is, for me right now, might be the surprise team for the Premier League at the moment. I think the way they managed to win that match, they won 3-2 on Friday versus Nottingham Forest, which again is another team that, despite getting 21 players, they might suffer from relegation. I fear for them now because they're conceding chances. They have a good keeper who will get saves. If an FPL asset will give you saves, but then they do concede a lot of chances. And I think that might become a huge problem for them with as matches come for Nottingham Forest. But then Fulham, they are looking like a decent side. Even though Mitrovic didn't score, it's good to see that they can get goals from other areas of the pitch, not just relying on one player, Mitrovic, to get goals. And it was good to see Willian again play. I mean, as a Chelsea fan, he's a frustrating player, but I think he's going to have a good season at Fulham. And he's going to play football more regularly now. I think Willian is a player to watch out for. He might create for them. He might, he's a good carrier of the ball. He's a good dribbler. So if I'm a Fulham fan, I'll be excited to see Willian play. He is someone who has that Premier League experience coming to a team, and he is now a senior player, So obviously, young stars and some players from the Championship are looking at Willian to actually lead the team and be the creator, especially against bigger teams where they might not have the possession. They might need him to be able to protect the ball and play those 1-2 passes to Mitrovic and get Mitrovic up and going again. Yeah, and then another match which surprised me was Newcastle versus Bournemouth. I genuinely thought Bournemouth were done and dusted already. But in the past 3 games, I think they have 5 points, 2 draws and a win. I mean, I expected Newcastle to wipe the floor with Bournemouth. But then, that manager bounce, they seem to have had it with Bournemouth. I mean, yes, they got rid of their coach. And then an assistant came in. He thought, things will fall apart. But they've been playing they have a good solid foundation. They have a good structure right now at the moment. And I was worried. I thought this was the game Newcastle would want to play, because I've seen them play against City, against Liverpool, and I genuinely thought they will better the chances. I genuinely thought they will be all over Bournemouth. But then, football is something else, man. I'm sure a lot of people are betting had Newcastle to win the match, but Newcastle proved that maybe they're not yet there as a billion-dollar club. They're not yet there as a good team. They'll still struggle against these smaller teams, with all due respect to Bournemouth. But I genuinely thought Newcastle would win the match. And I had Newcastle win in my previous video, because I genuinely thought Newcastle this would be a home run for Newcastle. But Bournemouth had other ideas, man. And then the other match we played, Aston Villa versus Southampton. Gerrard gets a win. Gerrard and Lampard got wins this game week. I mean, 1 minute they are close to being fired. The next minute they're getting wins. And I think Aston Villa needed that 1-0. They needed that match to go their way. They really needed it. It was Jacob Ramsey with the goal. He's a good midfielder. But then again, I don't think Aston Villa playing to their full potential. I genuinely don't think so. I don't think what's his name, Gerrard, is safe. I don't think his job is safe right now. I genuinely don't think it's safe. I think anything can happen with Gerrard at the moment. He can either lose his match or lose his job, or because you expect them to be up there. If I'm being honest, you expect them to be fighting for your 8th, your 7th, your 6th, or 9th position with the investment and the kind of talent they have. I think Gerrard might be suffering from having too many players. I think the squad is quite bloated. For a team with no European football, I think it's quite bloated. I think Gerrard is still trying to figure out his perfect starting 11. He doesn't have a solid starting 11. Players you can rely on, or a perfect system. It will be interesting to see how it does after the international break. I mean, obviously, they need to start picking up points. They need to show. He needs to show. I think Gerrard, above anyone else, needs to prove that he is a good coach. Yes, in Scotland, he did manage to get Rangers up and firing and win a title there and get them almost qualify for Europa and stuff. But then now this is the Premier League. He needs to show us that he is going to be the next Liverpool manager, because he's been touted for that Liverpool job the day Klopp decides to call it quits. So we need to see that in Gerrard now. If we can take Aston Villa to finish maybe in a solid 8th or even 7th position, then you can think if Gerrard gets a bigger squad, a better players, he might push the top 4 or push the Premier League. But at the moment, he's looking like an average coach. He's looking like a coach who can be defeated at any time. And I think for them, they were a bit lucky they were playing against Southampton, an unpredictable team. Like, you never know if Southampton will turn up. You can get a Southampton that beats Chelsea, or you can get a Southampton that can get a mauling by anyone, can get touched by any team. So yeah, man, Gerrard has to pull up his socks. And if I was Ralph Hasenhuttl, I'll be a bit worried now. For me, I still believe he's a good coach. I still genuinely believe he's a great coach. But at the same time, you can see why, for a Southampton fan, you get frustrated, because I think it's up to the coach to make sure that the team is consistent to a certain level. You can't be a yo-yo team. 1 minute, one game week, you're winning, and they're playing the best football. They're playing pressing football. They're playing like a low budget Liverpool side when it's at its best. Then the next game we can play like a championship team. I think if you are Ralph Hasenhuttl, you have to be a bit worried for your job now. Even though I still believe he's a good coach with a proper squad. Imagine this. Imagine if Ralph Hasenhuttl had the resources Steven Gerrard has. I think he'll be fighting for those Europa Conference spots. I genuinely believe so. Because Southampton, when they play football, they do play good football. I haven't seen Aston Villa play good football with the time Gerrard has been there, if I'm being honest. I think that one game against Manchester United, a very poor Manchester United last season, other than that game for Aston Villa, I don't see Gerrard. I haven't seen Gerrard, his team play that quite attractive football that you thought maybe Gerrard would bring to the Premier League in preparation for the Liverpool job. And a bit on the game that were postponed. As a Chelsea fan, if you're a Chelsea, Liverpool, and Manchester United fan, I think you should be worried. The fact that the other big three, your Liverpool, your Man City, your Spurs, and Arsenal won their matches. You know, those are 3 points. The gap is extended, and we have a game in hand, yes, but it's never a guarantee we can win the game in hand. You know, and our game in hand was against Liverpool, so that's never a guarantee. One of the teams can lose and the other one can draw. And again, Man United were playing Leeds. That's again, it's not a guarantee that they're going to beat Leeds, even though they've been playing well. So, you know, the games now don't feel like games. At the moment, they feel like a disadvantage for us, because now we have to win, and we're now playing catch-up basically. And those 3 teams are the ones, the 3 that played at the top, the 3 are the ones who are just out of the top 6 a bit. So that's, as a Chelsea fan, man, I just hope this long break we had, the team was gelling under Graham Potter, because we need to start firing. We need to see Opa getting on the score sheet. We need to see a change from Tuchel football to Graham Potter football. I need to start seeing a bit of Brighton in Chelsea, the way Chelsea play. I genuinely want to see that, and I believe we can still get top 4 and maybe try and get a trophy here and there. Because if we manage to get a trophy, I think that would be a boost for Graham Potter. It will be a definite plus for him if he can get a trophy in the in his first season at Chelsea, and the top 4 spot again, and make sure that we in the Champions League we're able to get better players next season. And you know, if you're a Man United fan, I don't know how to feel about Manchester United, because maybe they would have wanted to play Leeds, because they're a bit on form with, yes, them beating Sheriff with Cristiano Ronaldo, and maybe this was a perfect time with Rodrigo out to play Leeds. But I will see when the games will be when the double game is for Chelsea, Manchester United and Liverpool will be, I think that will be interesting to see how the calendar will be spread across the games now, just before the World Cup, or maybe it will be even after the World Cup. That's when we'll see these games being played. But overall, man, the Premier League is the Premier League. The Premier League is a fun league to watch. It's a fun league to analyze, man. And I think this game will really show us what I think we know. We expect Spurs to be winning even if they're not playing the previous football. We expect City to be just rolling over teams. And we expect Arsenal now to really show us that they have the gas, they have the passion, they have the fire to go all the way in this Premier League. Guys, this has been a good game week. It's a pity it's now international break with international football we don't really want to watch. And please do subscribe to the channel and like the video, like and subscribe. And we have more content coming up during the international break. Football, yeah, to be honest, but we're looking at different angles, not only just looking at the current season, but then the past seasons, looking at the African players, looking at the state of the Big Six, some cases at Chelsea, so the reason why Liverpool have been slow starters, and what Spurs can expect from Conte, and just how deadly Haaland can be, and if Arsenal will pull a Spurs and bottle it. Guys, this has been fun, man. I'm your host, Ronald M, signing out. Please don't forget to like and subscribe the channel, and always be looking out for new videos and new content coming out from this channel. This is MRM Sports. Thank you.